Let's go!
What's up, everybody? It is the crew. This is the What's the Agenda podcast crew. We're back again. We couldn't wait to come back, but we're back, man. It's What's the Agenda podcast. We're back, man, with the lovely Kira London, and the lovely
UK.
Yeah, man. Obviously, part 4 is not here today due to some health issues, but he's with us in spirit.
Shout out to Kenny Ken.
Kenny Kenson, Ugandan boy 95. Wish him quick recovery, and obviously he's gonna be with us for the next episode, hopefully. But yeah, listen, without further ado, let's get into this.
Let's go.
Yeah, done. So, first of all, ladies, how you feeling? How's your week been?
The women of society are doing fine.
We just came back from
Amsterdam.
Some of us were 9 to 5 working. Some of us were working, making money. We're making money.
We need it.
These people. Let me not even divulge what happened to them. Yeah, let me not expose what happened to them here. But they had a good time. Let's keep it at that. Let's stick to the program.
Yeah.
Listen, today we're gonna be touching on some things, and these topics when I was looking at them when I presented them forward to the crew, I thought as the ladies here have kids, and even us as people who are aspiring, or me myself, I speak for myself, who are aspiring to have children in the future, I feel like these would really touch home, and I feel like they would touch home for a lot of people, because I feel like my crew members identify with these topics, and I feel like I identify to a certain extent, or I can empathize, I should say. And I would say the first thing we're gonna dive into today, we're gonna dive into generational curses. Yeah. For those out there, you probably don't know what a generational curse is, or maybe you've experienced it, but you didn't know what it was called, or maybe you didn't know the term for it. Now, the definition of a generational curse is it refers to a negative pattern or patterns, behaviors, or problems that are believed to be passed down from one generation to the next, often as a result of ancestral actions or spiritual influences. Which means, if your grandfather's grandfather was a goat thief, or your grandmother's grandmother was, doing whatever she was doing, and it was negative, like in society, whatever it was, and that affected your family at the time in standing. So, some of the things that they includes like poverty, addiction, or illness, and it's a concept that ranges from culture to religion, and basically even like just normal aspects of life. But it comes from family, obviously, because obviously we all come from like family. So, I wanted to ask my crew, and I wanted to get their opinions. Like, do you believe in generational curses? We'll start with Kira. Kira, do you believe in a generational curse?
Yeah, I believe they do exist.
And why do you believe in a generational curse?
Why do I believe in generational curse?
So why do you believe like they really hold water? Why do you believe like they actually? Oh, you know what? If someone did something like back way back in the day, it would actually happen right now.
I feel like what we touched on before about the nature nurture thing. So like if our parents' parents were in an environment where certain things took place,
right,
and then they raised children in that environment, then they could it's a learned behavior, it's a learned thing that they take on. For example, maybe being raised by abusive parent in the family, or like you said, someone that's got some kind of use like alcoholism, drug use, whatever. It's something that they kind of are comfortable with having. So like if a man shows abusive tendencies, then you might not see it as something like red flag, and you may just tolerate it and you just continue on that cycle. So I feel like those things all depends on the household that you're raised in and what things that you experience at the time. And then as you grow up to be an adult, you just kind of naturally just fall back into that same cycle, unless
something happens.
Yeah,
and, like,
with
curse break.
education, maybe with good friends, good support system, you realize that that's not actually normal behavior or environments to be in, and you want to make a difference for your future children and children's children. So that's what I feel like, not being specific, but that's what I feel like generational curse is.
But you
and I feel
believe
like
it
it's
actually,
real.
like it actually happens
I
where
feel like, yeah,
something happened where your great grandmother.
it is. It's actually like not getting too personal about it, but it's actually things that I've seen in society amongst friends of friends, where things are, when you hear about the characteristic of that person now, like in my age bracket, and then you hear about the story of their parent, be it a single mother, you know, you get scenarios where a single mother raised the children and then they become single parents because, you know, be it a positive or a negative outcome.
Right, because
it's
their
like,
parents, they were raised as a single,
yeah,
so they believe like, you know, oh, this is my curse, or this is how it's meant to be.
I feel like it could be a positive where maybe the mother or the parent that raised them singly kind of was survived or did a decent enough job. They will not stay in a relationship and be like, well, I can do it myself because my mom did it, kind of thing. That doesn't mean that's a great thing. Or it could be a negative thing where, you know, single parenting, the way they were raised, and then they go on to do the same thing. Just naturally it happens.
So you said, so in terms of the way I'm looking at what you just said, so that's more like of a family structure, right? Right. But do you believe in the religious side of it, or the spiritual side of it, whereby some people believe like, you know, you were cursed as a child, or your grandparents like did this, and then that curse like went down in like in your family?
I am kind of like, story wise, like it's in the Caribbean and in Africa, and I'm guessing Far East, like this thing that you mentioned about spiritual, religious, whatever, I do feel like exists, but I'm very adamant where I don't want to dwell or look into it or find out. I just don't want to dwell into the spiritual thing in terms of curses and that. But I do feel like it does exist because I've heard enough stories to feel like, wow, that's really crazy, and it could only mean that. Otherwise, how do you explain certain things that happen? So yeah, it does exist, but I don't want to touch into it. I feel like as long as I don't look for it, it's not gonna find me.
So Kira believes in generational curses. She believes they do exist. She believes that, you know, these things happen in society, and, you know, people actually go through them. You know, generation families actually experience these things. This Shan UK.
What's up?
International. Eh? Do you believe in generational curses? Do you believe it's actually something that actually happens to people?
Yes, I believe they do exist.
Why?
I have seen it. Not seen it. Okay, let me explain it. I have kind of like seen a routine, if I have to touch base on family background.
Would you say it's like a
But
second hand
I can't
experience?
talk much into it, but it's like when you start to see a pattern in certain things, not only family but in your lifestyle,
right.
Certain things that generational a curse is a curse, so it's a bad thing. It's not nothing positive.
Negative energy just flowing.
Yeah. So when you start to see something happening negatively, which is a reflection of you and your past or your ancestry background, and then you can see it really like a pattern. Basically, that's what I believe, and it's a bad thing. That's now when you start to realize there is something not right here. So for me, that's what I call a generational curse. I'm not going to talk much about it, but yeah, I do believe they exist, and I do believe that if you accept it, it actually can manifest within you and me. But if there's ways we can break it as well by not accepting the curse, and it all takes by what I believe in God. So about prayer.
Amen.
So that's all I can say.
All right. So our women of society believe in generational curses.
No, we believe they exist.
Or thank you. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry,
she corrected me.
We believe they exist, but we don't believe in them, right?
There you go. So
We are the generation, women of society, to break the curse.
breaking.
the only thing they're breaking is bank accounts.
Hey.
So
trying to catch.
so to correct myself, you don't believe in them, but you believe they actually do exist. Speaking for myself, generational curses. I wouldn't term it a curse. Because a curse would be, I feel like a curse is too personal. I feel like a curse is something where someone actually comes to you and be like, yeah, I do that. Like some bones, little slice of chicken, go to pour the blood, That's for me, that's juju, curse. That's what I see, yeah? When people talk about curses.
So you believe that that's juju, but what about when it comes to culture? Where people use that as a symbol.
No, that's what I'm saying. So a curse, when you describe a curse, there's a ritual to curses. There's different things to make a curse actually go forward, right? These, when I look at generational curses, the way they dub them, like these, remember, like in the definition, it said they're behavioral, right? Something someone did back then. Yeah, your grandfather was always caught in someone's, like in some woman's house.
The seed was planted.
The womanizer, or he had this reputation in society, yeah?
But sometimes, sorry to cut you off, it can fall and miss a generation.
Yeah, the apple sometimes falls far from the tree. It does, yeah? Because, like, for example, if your grandfather was stupid,
I'm not stupid. You're not stupid.
Your kids down the line could be smart. They probably go to
and then stupid.
Exactly. It's the same. It's the same thing. Like I'll take it this far. I won't dive into this because I'm not really an expert on this. But same thing as like afflictions or diseases but they're hereditary and they can skip a generation and you like dementia or things like that, right? Yeah. So I feel like it's the same thing. But in terms of that reputation, behavior, and stuff like that, yeah, because obviously I feel the only thing you can pass down through our bodies is DNA. And biological agents and stuff like that. That's what I believe you can pass down.
Only DNA? Okay.
No, I believe biologically speaking, right? Okay. But if you brought up in a family and every day they drilled into you, your grandfather did this, your grandfather did that, your grandma did this, your auntie did this, I remember your auntie did that. You personally, you're gonna believe my family's messed up.
Habits?
Yeah, the habits, because they keep telling you, they keep feeding you this information. Like your family is this, your family is that, your family is this. When you go to buy a Rolex or or whatever, you go to buy breakfast somewhere and be like, your auntie, is she still at the market like every day? Yeah. So you feed it all this information. What does the mind do? It draws conclusions. Yeah. So you have no choice but to believe what you have a choice. I'm correct that you have a choice, but it's so overwhelming when everybody's opinion is the same. You're hearing the same things. So that builds a pattern whereby you start to believe it. You know what? My family's messed up. I feel like I'm gonna end up like that, right? So I believe it's a reputational thing, or it's information that's just passed down. I don't believe it's a curse. I just believe it's just word of mouth. Just like society today, there's bad mind people, like people with evil eye, and they just you could be somewhere and you piss someone off, or someone didn't like you and they started spreading information about you that wasn't true, right? And then that word goes back to your family, and then your family confronts you, like, I can't believe you did this. Now people are gonna say our family's messed up because you did this, right? And then when you have your kids, and then people are gonna say that you were evil, bro. You remember what happened?
No, but then you would start to see it. That's why I say it's like a repetitive.
If it repeats, it's an if. It's if it repeats.
But if you say that from hearing it.
Yeah, but is that a curse though? Or is it that someone who
if it's something negative, because a curse can never be positive. The word curse
true.
itself.
It's true.
It's not a positive thing.
It's true. But at the same time, like what I'm saying, unless someone actually went and cried out to whatever God they're crying out, to the stone, to a river, to to a chicken,
to a tree,
to a chicken with one eye, yeah, or to a goat with one nut. If they did all that, yeah, and they say, oh, this good maybe has like a blonde beard or something, or this is what if they did that, then you come back and say, they're doing some shady
But
shit.
then our
Right?
ancestors used to believe in what? The gods?
Yeah, but this is what I say. That's it for me.
Okay.
I don't believe like you can really like start telling me like my great grandfather was this, and now because I'm here and something happened to me over there, be like, your great grandfather, I remember he was doing that. Nah, bruv, that he got nothing to do. I didn't even know the man. Yeah, I believe I make my own decisions and I make my own life. Life is what you make it.
Yeah, but I guess it comes down to where they see a resemblance.
Maybe it's a
Also,
pattern. I think people look for patterns.
Curveball. How about have we ever really looked into it and thought, is it a black thing? Because I don't see the white society talking about.
We are not going to go into that because
It's a good question. It's a good question because
not-
white
no,
people
it's
don't
not-
really speak about
They don't
things
talk
like
about
that.
generation
they
curses.
don't speak about it, but
Maybe it happens,
excuse
but they
me,
don't speak about
have
it.
you watched Bewitched?
But that's what I'm saying.
Remember
They don't
Bewitched?
study it. They don't
Some
study
series
it
don't.
as hard as we do.
They do. I used to watch
First of all,
Bewitched.
I never watched Bewitched. So what
They
is
even
Bewitched?
do it worse.
Why is
they
Bewitched?
just okay. Halloween is coming up. Okay,
Oh, you believe in Halloween?
I don't.
That's a pagan ritual.
I don't believe in Halloween, but this is something that, as a black person, as an African, we're not supposed to even worship that. But that is something like they curses.
Yeah, but juju has always been done from like.
of November, don't they go and do bonfire?
No, what I'm
Bonfire,
saying is
bonfire.
But stuff like that-
European, Caucasian
Christianity,
people, are
that-
they
that-
watching
we can't
the
tap into
generational
that.
curse?
I don't think they really
That's what I was
fixate
trying
on
to
it.
think.
We
I feel
cannot-
like it's a black thing.
Have you done your research on it?
No, I need to, but
That's
just
what I'm
to a
saying.
point, it just made me think like.
So we
Maybe
can't
it's
really,
a black
so we
thing.
can't really discuss on that without
Because
doing
we're
our
very
research.
much into culture, tradition, and I feel like
Yes,
we
are
go
more-
in history.
Yes,
We like
yes.
to look back on what happened.
Listen,
But I feel like
Italians
do not quote. Do
Yeah.
not quote us on
They-
this.
We'll
the
get
Italians-
back to you
the
guys.
We shall get back
Italians
to
do-
you.
The Italians have culture. We have not done our research, so you
Yeah.
can't really tap into
Like I
the
said,
subject.
do not quote us on this. We shall do our
Please,
research
what's-
and come back.
Comment.
Kira
Yeah.
London.
Drop your
Yeah.
comments.
Kira has just asked a question.
Let me know. I'm mixed race. I'm mixed
You're
race.
Ugandan.
On my
sorry.
mom's side, I don't know.
The Russians believe in generational curses.
Not even heard of that in my family.
There
Did
you
you
go.
grow up in Russia? You came back here at the age
No,
of
but
what?
she's
Six.
Russia's part Russian, so that's a
Excuse-
culture. So.
At the age of what?
6. But what I hear from my mom
But you grew up with your
is
grandma,
like,
right? You grew up with your
you just
grandma, so your
live to your
grandma
own
should
path.
would have told you stories about da 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 da.
She only told me something about her experience through the war, school, whatever. But it wasn't like going back generations, the negativity, the repetitive, like. So that's what. While you guys were talking, I'm like, is it something that
Makes you
we?
ponder.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
very into our history and whatever.
Our culture.
And then that's
Yeah.
where you pick up the negative things and say, oh, it's because of that, whatever. And then you start saying, oh, it's a generational curse. But that's a
I have
curveball.
those-
That's just a curveball.
It's a good
But there's
curveball.
also positive. I've had positive things said. My mum will look
About
at me like,
generational curse.
not a curse, but what do we now call that?
Oh.
When you see, like, for example, they said the you mummy of your dad, he was a business person.
Yeah, that's good.
Those are, you see, so
I would
that is
call
still
that-
a trait.
It's trait. No, but if traits can be bad.
Yes, exactly.
So I wouldn't call it a bad. It's a good trait.
So how
Good
would you,
family traits.
So how?
I'll call it a good family or good good. You have to put the good.
Generational
You have to put
traits.
the good part in. You have to put the good part. Good. You have to put good because people in here cuss bad.
Yeah.
People in here cuss bad.
Because the curse is a negative.
Because what's the opposite of a curse? Blessing.
Mm.
Some people, I'm sorry to say out there, you are curses to your families. It is.
I'm a blessing to my
Yeah,
family.
some people are blessings to their families.
Women of society.
Hey.
No
Sorry.
comment.
You're on your own.
No
today.
comment. No comment. Listen.
Man of society.
As a
is
man of society, I hold it down. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to ask my crew another question, part of the same thing. So have you ever noticed any patterns or struggles in your family personally that, like, for example, like you've seen traits in your dad and your mom, or if you met your grandparents or whatever, you've seen some traits in them that maybe flow also across to you, like you're seeing there's a like transition whereby, oh, I'm actually behaving the same way as my mom or my grandma actually have these traits. Do you see those patterns, or do you believe that you behave the same way?
I picked up the little OCD with like cleaning or keeping the house nice or being house proud. Picked that up from my mom I used to hate when she used to just on the weekend. It was like Saturday is deep clean
She
day.
made you clean,
I
innit?
used to hate it, but now it's just like it's something that it has.
Wait,
to
what
be
was the
done.
worst place to clean?
The cabinet, because it's not just the outside. You have to
Take all the stuff out.
Take the stuff, polish them, and put them back in. And those cabinets with those drinkware, tableware, like they hardly get used. It's whenever we have guests, we bring it out. It's just sitting there. Just I never understood, and that's one thing I said that when I get my own place, I will never. Yeah.
So, do you believe that will rub onto your kids, to your kids? Because you have kids.
Yeah, I've taught my children from early to be able to sort their clothes for laundry, the darks, the lights, the colours. I fold up their clothes after they finish drying, and then they have to put it back to their own place. Just get them into a little.
What happens if they're done?
Shouting.
Listen, I know you're gonna ask if the shouting doesn't work. What happens? We leave.
Oh, you're touching on that. Nah.
No, yeah. Listen, keep it there.
People are watching.
But those are the positive traits that you pick up from your parents, right? So what do you say to those, like, for example, when I was researching this, for example, like people who go through abuse, whereby you grew up and your let's say your parents were in an abusive relationship, or there was always, it doesn't have to be physically abusive, but there was always that emotional battle, or that, belittling someone, or sometimes like words can hurt. They won't hurt physically, but emotionally you get trauma. Like someone tells you you're not worth it, or why did I give, like, I don't know why I married you, like, people have actually said stuff like that. And you believe like kids seeing that can also create a thing whereby they feel like, if my mom and dad are like this, how
they grow up
right?
that's the norm.
So if you're lucky enough to be in parents whereby it's a loving family, it's all well and good, but then what do you say, like, in your opinion, what do you say to those people if those people experience such a thing? Do you believe that they should just try to live their own lives without thinking about that, or do you feel like that's something they just really can't escape from?
That's a difficult one.
What do you guys think?
I think you can escape from it, but it's a hard thing.
Like I said,
Having children, I have my kids. I realize that there are certain traits as well from watching our parents and let's not say the abusive, but certain situations.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be physical or emotional.
Yeah, whatever.
It could be something.
Yeah,
it could be something negative that they pick up on.
That when you grow up, it affects us, and then it starts affecting the way we relate to it. It's not only relationships,
So life, just life in general.
And then you now start being that person because, like you said, we come from our parents, and genetically we have the genes, like the DNA. So both mother and father growing up and seeing what is going on in the household, which can be toxic, it's gonna rub off on the child. But when you start, like, now that goes back to when you realize that this is a pattern, I've seen it as you grow up. It will take a lot for you to actually analyze, sit down, if you're very intelligent, to say, I've seen this and I don't want this for my future, for my kids. But
the children, you always want them to be a better version of yourself. So like my daughter is in personality what I would have loved to be, like positive, well, not positive, scratch that, like she's bubbly, she's confident, she's the popular one in class, she loves to study, like she's just the great energy, very feminine, likes her pink, likes to draw, she does all of that. And then we've got my son, he's like into gaming, into sports and whatever, and it's like they've got little parts of me,
bits, yeah.
And I just push it because because I came to the country at 6 years old, and it was more of a discovery language, and it was more of that rather than my personality. Like,
so your struggles shouldn't be their struggles.
Yeah, so like I encourage it.
There shouldn't be the same struggles.
Yeah.
There should be new struggles for them, obviously, because they're going to go through life and
face
their own struggles, but it shouldn't be what
But
you
I
face.
encourage them, like I always say that, you're bright, you're smart, blah blah, like positive
but then there are times when you can't really do that. It is the time.
I don't have kids.
When you sit and look at them and you're like,
yeah, when they do
this, and I don't want my kids.
You see that little side, like,
yeah. Pass on thing to your kids.
No, because they kind of see it. They will see it, and I try try to not.
That
but that's
doesn't
the-
mean that you
See it
pass
too
it on
much.
them. That means that
No, but they're learning it.
They're learning it.
Yeah, I don't
so
want them
you
to
can
learn.
stop
Yeah,
it.
they want to learn it.
Yeah.
It's
But
Well,
you
I
realize
tried
it,
by
and it's
not.
hard.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you also don't, if you haven't figured it out yet,
Yourself, yeah.
you're not gonna know how they're gonna figure it out, right? And so this is what I'm saying. So like all these things that they're learning, like how do you get good at something at anything? Practice, right? If they keep drilling into you that you ain't shit, 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 you're probably gonna think to yourself, I ain't shit. Right? Yeah, of course we rebuke
That's
you.
when we rebuke
No, of course we rebuke you, but like if you always, I think it's also
No,
the
I know
environment.
what you mean.
It's the environments that we put ourselves in. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you grew up, if you like, fortunately, I've not grown up in that environment. But if you, for those who are out there, if you've grown up in an environment whereby it's just negative and you face like situations whereby it's just you feel like there's no way out. What I encourage you to do is like put yourself around people who are positive or people who would encourage you, right? Not to say they're better than you. Don't get yourself people who like trying to show off that they're better than you or like they're gonna belittle you. But people who will like encourage you like this is not the long term reality. This is temporary. You can be better than what you are. You feel what I'm saying?
But
If you put yourself in that environment, if you're able to, I should say that if you're able to, because
sometimes it's hard.
yeah, not everybody has the means.
No, sometimes it's hard for you to reach out to those people because so many people are very ashamed or very
There's that.
very
It's a
they
stigma.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because imagine if I come and tell you what I'm struggling with or what I'm going through, I don't want you to look at me or look down on me. Or
I feel little
so
myself because of that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like who you choose to go to, and I believe for me is going back to your own parents and letting them know that there is something I want to sit down and talk to you about.
It's tough.
This is what it is tough as
Teaching them like different aspects of life, right? And having that talk. Know that talk because just how your parents raised you is not necessarily the same you're gonna raise your kids, right? There's no straight answer to parenting. Right? No straight answer to parenting. So for me it's a question of like how do you figure that shit out, man? That's why I say you mothers, man. I give like top respect. Because like from the moment that little thing says double the moment that thing says double positive, yeah. The moment that thing says positive, you're like,
and that's when the guy runs.
we're there. Oh, listen, I'm
joking.
Separate the men from the boys.
No, it's true though. Separate the men from the boys, but like from that moment, your life changes. And now your thinking pattern changes, right? And then once the kid is born, I feel like also that plays in the back of your mind. Okay, how can I not be with how can I be better than how my parents raised me? Because not everything is positive about it.
Everybody has that mindset.
Yeah, it doesn't switch on for everybody. Even
Everybody, yeah.
And do you believe that also? Would you believe that would also come under like a generational thing?
With fortune.